What's going on? YouTube Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to do with you guys. One that I think a lot of people have been wondering if I'm going to do for a long time. This is the Spyderco Smock. I keep wanting to call it a button lock, but it actually operates like it's got a compression lock. The button pushes the compression lock over, but the compression lock's on the reverse side. Anyways, very interesting. Very, very interesting knife. This knife, along with many others here recently, was sent to me by my good friend at herms.things on Instagram. Please give him a follow. He has provided me with an enormous amount of content over the next month and a half or so, and I am infinitely appreciative of that. You guys know that I do have Patreon, so if you'd like to support this channel and at the same time get your hands on a cool sticker and gain access to my once-a-week Patreon exclusive content, follow the link down in the description. The support would absolutely mean the world to me. While you're down there, take a look at my sister channel, Silent Complex. There's some cool stuff down there, absolutely. Anyways, let's go ahead and get a measurement on this guy. So overall length of the smock coming in at 8 inches on the dot. That's a nice overall size. Blade length coming in at just like right on 3.5. It's like maybe just a hair short. Actual cutting edge just shy of 3 inches. Not going to be legal everywhere, but it's certainly going to make a lot of people happy. Definitely makes me happy. Let's do some size comparisons here up against the Ontario Rat Model 1. It's important to point out here, very recently I have changed the angle from directly overhead to slightly tilted backwards, and that's so that when I get a close-up shot, it minimizes the amount of shadow from the phone. Like I noticed in some older reviews, there was shadows of the phone on the knife, and so we're slightly tilted back, which is going to throw off the size comparison a little bit. Rat 1 coming in at 8.6 inches overall, so it's a little bigger than the Smock. How about up against the Spyderco PM2? A lot of people are probably wanting to see this. PM2 coming in at 8.3 inches overall, so a little smaller than PM2. How about up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue. Ritter Hogue coming in at 8 or 8.1, just about exactly the same length overall as the Smock. And last but not least, another size comparison people probably want to see is the Spyderco Para 3. Spyderco Para 3, coming in at 7.25 inches overall. How's the action on this guy? It's just super fun. Maybe it's because this is a Spyderco that's just making me like, oh, yay. But the fact that they incorporated a compression lock with a button lock, and it works, and at the same time, I think this is just as strong and trustworthy as regular compression lock, you know? I mean, it operates slightly differently, but it's just impressive, you know? I really like this. This is very, very fun to play with. It does, to my knowledge, run on bearings, though I'll admit... Oh, gosh, wait, am I right? Yeah, it runs on bearings. Of course, if I'm wrong, people always correct me, and that's fine. But yeah, it's very, very smooth. It's very fidget-friendly. This is for those of you who judge, you know, like, listen... like, my knives are going to cut. Most knives cut. That's fine. I just want some... I know I'm going to want to play with it. Is that thing fun to play with? Super fun to play with. Super fun to play with. This is one of my favorite fidgety knives that I've ever handled. Absolutely. So the action's very, very good. Detent is very good. By the way, you can do the standard thumb flick. You can do the reverse flick, though I'll admit it took me a little bit to get that figured out. And then you can do a flip, which is awesome because look where the flipper tab is. It's just part of the overall... I mean, it doesn't stick out this way. It's just... and what an organic feeling. Like, I'd love to see more flipper tabs like this guy in the future on knives, because this just makes sense, you know? It doesn't need to be push button. Let's just change them all to this light switch that, you know, not really. Obviously, it's going to depend on the design. Am I really about to sneeze in the middle of a knife review? No. Let the knife review continue. Anyways... really, really awesome. Love that. So anyways, what are we looking at here for materials? Oh yeah, we need to weigh it. Well, we'll talk about materials anyway. This is carbon fiber laminate, meaning it's a carbon fiber sticker on top of G10. I don't like that. Just make it G10. Don't make it look like something. It just makes it feel cheap. And I'm constantly reminded, it's like, it looks like carbon fiber, but it's not. And it's a thing that has to be there, and I have to be aware of it. That's something that Taichung Taiwan does. Like, this is not a US Spyderco. It's a Taichung Taiwan Spyderco. Let's see. Yeah, can we... there it is, right there. Just make it G10. and charge us a little bit less money for it if applicable. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's what it would cost. The price that it is currently is what it would cost with just G10 as well. I just don't like that stuff. Make it either carbon fiber or G10. I'm okay with one or the other, not one pretending to be the. This is, to me, this is like skim milk. It's that skim milk is, who cracked the joke about skim milk? Skim milk is water pretending to be milk. I think that was Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. But that's that's what it makes me think of. So I don't like that, but it's fine. It's still plenty durable. It's going to have the durability of G10, which is absolutely fine, and it's not super duper heavyweight. Then we're looking at stainless steel liners that come all the way out to the lips with a little bit of internal milling. Those holes go all the way through. And then we have CPM S30V in a blade stock thickness of, can we zero out? I'm going to guess 125 thousandths. Well, this is saying even less than that. Let's try and do that again. Yeah, 120 thousandths. That's kind of what it looks like to me. I mean, if we're putting it up against the Ritter Hogue, the Ritter Hogue's exactly 125 thousandths. That's what it looks like to me. It's about 120, possibly 115. In any case, there's not an enormous amount of material here because the height, which actually we should talk about before we weigh it, the height of this is not super, it's not super tall and super thick. So thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3, you can see there it's about the same. In terms of height and carry profile, it's got the PM2 and the Para 3 beat. I always use PM2 and Para 3 because they're very popular models that, in my opinion, have awkward carry profiles, and nobody ever complains about them. So there you go. It's got those two beat, and it's going to have a lot of knives beat, in my opinion, because it's just kind of a normal, it's just kind of a regular little shaped knife, no crazy protrusions or anything like that. So anyways, weight on this guy is coming in at a completely understandable 3.5 ounces, which is right about what the blade length is. So that's going to make a lot of people happy. Let's go ahead and weigh it again just to be sure. Yeah, 3.5 ounces. So no big deal at all. Let's go ahead and talk about the blade shape here. So this is a Wharncliffe blade. That's what I would call it anyway. Some people might call it a sheep's foot blade. You definitely have a nice large area to get your finger up here and do some, delicate work while you're choked up, and I really, really appreciate that. There is functional jimping back here that, I'll be honest, is a little bit sharp. It's a little bit aggressive, not that big of a deal. These areas on the blade I thought would be sharper than they actually are. They're knocked down a little bit, but I can still catch my fingernail on it. Not that big of a deal. The blade is sharpened perfectly, and it does get nice and thin behind the edge, but it doesn't have a whole lot of room to drop here. So, I mean, it's going to slice through materials, but it might get slowed down a little bit by this dramatic drop and then this very prominent flat that runs out about 85% the length of the blade, which is nice. It's going to emphasize some durability on a blade stock that would otherwise, in my opinion, be considered pretty delicate. So yeah, I mean, this is the type of blade that's going to tackle EDC tasks and then some, considering its overall profile and weight and mass and blah, blah, blah. The Spidey hole is nice. It's actually been knocked down quite a bit to the point where it doesn't feel sharp or catch my fingers or anything. It is a little bit more difficult to get a hold of than like a PM2 or a Para 3 because the hole's just smaller. But I can still get my finger in there. It took maybe 5 minutes of practice and I had it figured out, so no big deal. It's satin finished, which is nice. I always prefer tumbling, but that's fine. It says Spyderco CPM S30V on one side and Taichung Taiwan on the other. I understand Taichung Taiwan's proud of their product, and they do arguably have the best fit and finish of any of the, all the different plants for Spyderco, which includes Japan, there's 2 different ones in China, I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Taichung Taiwan, and then the US or the Golden Colorado line. I just don't like seeing Taiwan on the blade. That's just me. That's what holds me back sometimes from ordering a Spyderco is I'm like, if they didn't put Taiwan on there, I might buy it. Now, why? Why do I feel like that? I don't know, because I've got this, I can't kill this bias in my mind where I'm like, it doesn't need to be made in the United States, but if it's not made in the United States, I just don't want it to say it on the blade. I don't know why that bothers me, right? I'm fully aware that other countries are capable of manufacturing premium products. I either want it to say USA or I don't want it to say anything. I don't know why I'm like that. You don't have to, you don't have to think like me. Moving on here, everything is just very nicely knocked down. All these edges are just very rounded. There's no hot spot to speak of anywhere on this. Now, that could be partially due to the fact that we have, is this a Lynch clip? Is this a Casey Lynch clip? I don't know these clips, but this is an aftermarket clip. I think a lot of people prefer clips like these on their knives. I don't know what clip it came with standard. I'm going to guess it was the standard Spyderco clip, maybe something different. I don't know. But even if it did come with a standard Spyderco clip or a different clip, worst case scenario, it would only be the clip causing a hot spot if that was the case. But nowhere else on the knife is there a hint of anything that's uncomfortable, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hardware here. Get out my handy dandy WIA bit selector and magnetic driver. Two items that are very, very recommendable and very, very inexpensive. Both items can be found down in my description, along with many other awesome knives that you guys see on my channel every day. Whether they're high-end US or Chinese production knives, or they're really, really awesome budget knives. There's a ton of stuff down there, and there's something down there for everybody. So if you've never checked out my description, take a moment to check it out and scratch your itch. Get yourself something. Anyways, I'm going to guess the pivot's a T8. Yep. How about the body screws? We're going to get lucky? Nope. Body screws are probably... Wait. What did I just pull out of here? Yeah, okay. T6. The reason I like this little stubby, this fat magnetic driver, is because it's really easy to hang on to, and it's just not very big. Easy to put torque on as well. Yeah, that's a T6. So, I don't like T6. You guys hear me say this like every other review. Don't like it. Wish they were T8 or up, but it's fine. No big deal. Not a deal breaker. We've got, of course, the pivot, 2 body screws, 2 standoffs, technically 3 if you count the lanyard barrel, and then you've got 2 body screws in the back. This makes me think the position of the lanyard barrel. This is something that everybody in the knife community has been complaining about for a long time. Why prioritize the lanyard barrel or lanyard hole? We're past the point where, I mean, yeah, there are still people who enjoy lanyards, and that's fine, but I feel like the people who enjoy lanyards are perfectly fine with the lanyard hole being back here and not prioritized over the position of the pocket clip. You know why? Because it's not like people are on one side or the other. Everybody wants their pocket clip in the right place, but very few people care about the position of the lanyard hole. So we need to stop prioritizing the position of the lanyard hole. In some cases, it's perfectly acceptable to just not include it. I'm going to guess that's why there is an aftermarket clip on this, for the same reason that there's an aftermarket clip on my Spyderco Para 3, because that stupid lanyard barrel is taking priority in its position over the position for the pocket clip, and I'm going to guess that the standard pocket clip was not in an optimal position. Maybe I'm wrong, but with a lot of Spyderco knives, I'm finding that just changing out the clip solves a lot of issues in general, so maybe that's the case. I do like the clip that you've selected here. It honestly looks like a clip that could have come on the knife. Really nice clip. Carries deep. I can't really comment too much on the clip because, like I said, it's aftermarket. Now, you know what, though? Maybe I'm wrong. Did you include the other clip? I'm not seeing it here. Well, anyways, we'll go ahead and move on. You guys can look up pictures of it. So construction-wise, it's great. Ergonomics, great. Like I said, no hot spots. Some people are going to be bent out of shape by the amount of cutting edge versus the total amount of handle. I don't have a problem with that. This knife is centered, looks very new. And let's check lockup here. Yeah, surprisingly, I mean, maybe it's not surprising because I keep trying to judge it as a button lock. Button locks always, well, they tend to have a little bit of play, like a micro amount of play. Compression locks, however, no, they generally don't have play. I'm super, super excited about this. I can get my entire hand around this back area here, and then you have so much room to adjust and like change the position of your hands. It's a little bit clunky having this area be flat right here. I'd almost rather it be rounded, but then again, that kind of leaves it, you know, it creates a customizable hand position. People can kind of, you know, pick and choose exactly where they want to put their hands. This is an incredibly well-built knife. I really love the button here. It does, you know, some people I think might point out the button sticks up a little bit. Does it create, you know, an issue like in the pocket? You can see there the button does only stick up when it's locked out, and then when this is clicked down into place, it's only ever so slightly raised above the scale. So you can see, if you want to watch here. that's when it sticks up, right? Even when it is out, it's just not in a position, you know, maybe in the left hand, right? So if you're squeezing it, I'm going to squeeze it as hard as I can, see if the blade will disengage. Nope, I can't. Not with my left hand. It's going to be very unlikely that that's going to happen. With your right hand, it's not even really on it. Perhaps with this finger, if I pushed it as hard as I could, right? If I was really bearing down on it in this specific position or in this specific position, there is a chance squeezing it really hard under use might disengage it, right? I think it's pretty unlikely. I think you're going to be cognizant of that. If I'm going to hold this knife, I'm going to hold it like this, right? And there I'm going to know, you know, I'm not going to disengage it. But it is possible. I want to point that out. It is possible. I feel like some reviewers are going to say it's more or less likely. It's definitely something that's possible. You're going to have to think about it while you're using it. Do I think it's that big of a deal? No. Most of the time, I'm just going to make a cut with it like this. I'm not going to put such incredible pressure on the knife or squeeze it incredibly hard to the point where I'd have to worry about that. So I don't think people are going to have to. The price on this guy, again, we're looking at carbon fiber laminate, so a sticker and some G10 with S30V. We have bearings. We've got a very interesting, very innovative button version of the compression lock and an awesome flipper tab. And then we have excellent fit and finish all the way around. Very little to complain about here. T6 screws, the original pocket clip might have been an issue. I don't know 100%. The button seems to function just fine, but there are situations where I would worry about accidentally disengaging it. There are some sharp edges up on the spine. Nothing crazy. What do they want for this? They want 175 bucks. I'm okay with that. I think that's I think I'm seeing that value here, and it's like I say sometimes, you know, everything could be 10 to 20 bucks less. Literally everything. Would this blow my mind at 155? Yeah. Am I happy with it at 175? Yeah, I'm happy with it. There's going to be a link right at the top of my description if you guys want to pick this knife up for yourselves, but I can absolutely recommend it. So it is going to go on my most recommended knives playlist. Once again, Herms.things, thank you so much for lending this along with many other knives, but that's going to be just about it for the review today, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on this Metal Complex logo right here and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.